Good evening, everyone. I'm Trey Valentine, Executive Director of the Massachusetts Transgender Political Coalition. Welcome to Professionals for Trans Rights virtual event and fundraiser. I am so glad that you can join us as we celebrate MTPC's 20th anniversary and support our mission as we work to ensure the well-being, safety, and lived equity of all trans, non-binary, and gender-expansive community members here in Massachusetts. We have been through some intense times together and could not have made it this far without supporters like you. So thank you for being there, and thank you for being here tonight. So pour yourself your favorite beverage, sit back, relax, and enjoy your time with us as I place you in the hands of our brilliant MC for this evening, Jaden Jameson.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Jaden Jameson, and I'm just your local Vietnamese refugee drag king. Because why? Because representation matters. At this point, I've been in the drag game for about 15 years now, and I feel like a geezer. And not gonna lie, I sprouted a lot of whites this past year. So, to make it easier on everyone tonight, you don't have to call me Jaden. You can call me Daddy. But I'm so excited to be your host and MC for tonight's virtual Professionals for Trans Rights. This is the 11th annual and the first ever virtual event to raise funds for the Massachusetts Transgender Political Coalition. This is MTPC's annual business community fundraiser, and we're so glad you chose to be with us tonight. We wish we could be together this year, and this year is very unique. And we are thrilled we're able to be together virtually and still find a way to support this important work. You can donate at any point tonight, and our next speaker, Casey, is going to tell you more about that in a moment. But first, we have a wonderful program tonight. First of all, please make sure you follow our Instagram at MassTPC, and we'll be sharing live updates as the donations roll in tonight. And please make sure you use the hashtag PTR2021 and tag us in any of your photos enjoying the event. You want to show us your creativity. You want to show us watching with your dog, your trans flag, a piece of LGBTQ history, or just you and your boo chilling. Whatever it is, we can't wait to see your beautiful your faces. Please show us your beautiful faces. And now I'm thrilled to bring on our next guest, a member of the MTPC steering committee, and who coincidentally is also one of my debonair drag sons, Casey Pons. Casey, take it away.
Hello, everyone. Thanks so much for the introduction, Jaden. You guys are in for a real treat tonight. Jaden is such a terrific presence and member of the community. Thanks for being here, Jaden. My name is Casey Pons. I use they, them pronouns. I'm a member of the MTPC steering committee, and I've been on the steering committee for about 3 years now. And we're working hard to continue the work that MTPC is doing, as well as incorporate community feedback and longtime partnership feedback to continue to evolve and grow the organization. And any donations you make tonight will go directly to support that. So thank you, thank you, thank you. This is what I believe is truly heart work, and your support means all the world. So thank you so much. In terms of ways to support, if you look up in the upper right-hand corner, you'll notice a donation portal. There's a couple of suggested amounts of donation, and then there's a custom field. Pick one of the suggested amounts or fill in the custom field. Every donation of any size is important and accepted and appreciated. So thank you. Below that box, you'll see credit card or bank account information, so you can pick whichever one applies to you. You'll also see a space to do a one-time contribution or a monthly contribution, so pick whatever works for you. And if you're someone who writes a check, there's actually an option for that too. Scroll all the way down. You'll see at the bottom there's an address. You can write out your check, seal it in an envelope, and mail it to that address. And if you, like me, sometimes have technology troubles, if you see an error message, you have any questions that we haven't answered, there's an email address down at the bottom as well. You can shoot us an email, give us a phone number or an email way to contact you, and we'll get back with you ASAP so that we can get anything resolved so you can continue being here tonight. In terms of keeping up with donations tonight, up above you'll see a ticker. It runs across the screen. It'll be updated with the totals, and below you'll see people in your community who have recently donated and any comments they have. If you want to get the most up-to-date information, you can click the refresh button at the top. Some browsers have it on the left, some on the right. Click the refresh button. It'll have a brief pause. It'll bring you right back here. You won't miss a beat. And as soon as that happens, you'll see the refresh totals. And that's pretty much it. It's easy peasy. So I am so excited for the rest of this night. Thank you again so much for supporting. I'm really looking forward to the performers, and I'm excited to experience this event with you, as well as my co-host, who is also going to be making a donation. This is Owen. He's my pupper supporter. I hope you've got your supporters and your family with you too. Owen will be writing his check shortly, and I'll let him go do that. Great to see you all. Thanks so much.
Thanks for that, Casey. That was great. Now, everyone, make sure you donate tonight. Any donation you make, whether or not large or small, will make a difference in the work that MTPC does in the future. Now it's time for some entertainment. We're so lucky to have this next act with us, and you're about to be blown away. Black Bear Extraordinaire is a Black, trans, non-binary, queer musician and spoken word artist known for their work for the Theater Offensive and the True Colors Troupe LGBTQ youth. Please make sure you check out their full bio in our program book and show them love on their socials. Now please welcome to the stream, Black Bear Extraordinaire.
Say their names. Every day another body bag, nothing has changed. We take to the streets and they place the blame on us. They really should be ashamed, but they're not, and we are so very tired. We've had enough of all the stuff that's transpired. Oh, this is you and the pigs that are really fired. We won't stop until our victory is acquired. And the oppression we will not drown. Uprise and march in every single town. Demand humanity for the black and the brown. Turn up and turn out till this is shut down. They can't continue to deny us our joy and our laughter. If we unite, imagine all the systems we will shatter. All of us, if true freedom is what we're after, no black person left behind, cause all black lives matter. Deep in my heart, I do believe we shall overcome someday. Shall overcome someday. Not everyone can be on the front lines, so that's something we all gotta keep in mind. Some of us can't march, and that's really okay. We each contribute to the movement in our own way. What's important is we lift each other up high. We need to be arms linked if we want to get by. Together, our voices will amplify. And we are gonna show them why our anger is justified, and we will not quit. They're jealous of our beauty, though they will not admit. But we've been passed down true strength and grit, so we can take on all the racists and the hypocrites. They spoke out so we can say what we gotta say. They prayed for our future so today we could pray. They paved the way so we could pave another way. They fought another day so we could fight another day. No justice, no peace, no racist police, no racist police, no racist police. No justice, no peace, no racist police, no racist police, no racist police. Deep in my heart, I do believe we shall overcome someday. Deep in my heart, I do believe we shall overcome someday. It is our duty to fight for our freedom. It is our duty to win. We must love and support one another. We have nothing to lose but our chains. We have nothing to lose but our chains. We have nothing to lose but our chains. Maybe that someday is right now. I know it hurts, but we keep on going somehow. We gotta stay united, and we cannot allow them to kill our hope and keep our spirits down. Our liberty and justice must be our fixation. Denied they may, but we're the ones who built this nation. Time for talk is over, no more negotiation. So let's raise our fist for black liberation. Deep in my heart, I do believe we shall overcome someday. Deep in my heart, I do believe we shall overcome today.
Thank you, Black Bear Extraordinaire. That was amazing. That makes me miss live in-person performances, and I can't wait to return to stage. If you want to learn more about Black Bear Extraordinaire, please check him out in our program book. And while you're at it, the book contains information about our speakers tonight and our sponsors who've come out loud and proud for our trans rights. We want to recognize several of our sponsors. At the diamond level is Eastern Bank, who invites you to join us for good. At the gold sponsors, it's Foley Hogue. Thank you for stepping up. And gratitude to our silver sponsors, Seyfarth Shah. And if you want to learn more about this up-to-date and comprehensive list of the amazing businesses and our community members who are part of this partnership, please check them out in our book. And there's a link in the book as well if you want to know about all the speakers tonight and everyone who made this program possible. Please check out the book. And now for our next guest on our MTPC Steering Committee, Grace Durang-Stowell.
Hi everyone. I am so honored to be here tonight to present the inaugural Massachusetts Transgender Political Coalition Trans Excellence Award to Gunnar Scott. Gunnar, I've known Gunnar in this community for over 30 years, and we especially had an opportunity to work together when Gunnar was a co-founder of the Massachusetts Transgender Political Coalition and the organization's first executive director. And in his time as executive director, he led the 5-year fight to get trans legal protections for all of us in the state of Massachusetts. And that led to the successful passage of the Trans Equality Bill in 2011. Gunnar has been an activist, a leader, and an accomplished member of our community, both locally and nationally. And in so many ways, this award embodies his spirit and his energy. I first got to know Gunnar especially when we were working together in MTPC, but before that as well in trans community activities. And I especially remember a time when we were talking about the needs of trans youth in the community. As executive director of Bagley, I've been working with trans young people for decades, and we were talking about the needs that youth are facing, even different than adults in the community. And I was talking about the lack of resources and lack of support. And Gunnar, who is someone who's always inspired and can-do attitude, said, well, then let's create it. Let's create something that meets those needs. And out of that, Gunnar and MTPC, in collaboration with Bagley and later with Greater Boston PFLAG, created the annual Trans Youth and Family Summit, which continues to this day, where it's an opportunity for hundreds of trans and non-binary young people and their families to come together and receive support and access to resources and services. So that's just one example of many of how Gunnar has been so inspiring for so many, and I really appreciate him and his friendship, as well as his role as a colleague and a leader in our community. There are few people I can think of who deserve this award more than Gunnar, and so on behalf of all of us at the Massachusetts Transgender Political Coalition, I'm very honored to present this award to Gunnar Scott. Thank you, Gunnar. Love you.
Thank you so much, Grace, for that introduction, and I just want to congratulate MTPC on 20 years. I actually cannot believe that 20 years have gone by. It feels like yesterday that I was working with our community members to change the laws and policies in Massachusetts so that we could live freely, respected, with dignity, and be who we are without having to worry about that. I am just really honored by MTPC in presenting the first ever Trans Excellence Award, and I really appreciate it. I cannot imagine my life without MTPC, although I've moved across the country and I'm doing a little bit of trans work under the radar now, and I'm really excited to see where MTPC goes in the next 20 years. I never imagined that this organization would be one of the first of its kind in the country and around today to continue the work that needs to happen. For me, I was really influenced by my elders and my peers in the trans community. I was inspired by people like Penny Ash Matz, who started It's Time Massachusetts, by my colleagues Nancy Nangeroni, by Grace Sterling Stoll, and Holly, and so many others who really inspired me. And overall, I was moved by the murder of Rita Hester, and that is something I continue to carry with me. And in the last year, we've lost a number of amazing trans activists and trans folks, as we do every year, and it never stops. And the work that you all are doing is going to help stop that. That is what I believe. It is about us speaking up for ourselves as trans people, as I've always believed that. And by educating and activating our allies and our community members around us. And I could have never done anything that I did without the community. It is not, I was the vessel. I wasn't, the only person that made things happen. It was actually because of the Massachusetts and the trans community globally that gave me the strength and inspired me to take that time and that moment to do the work that needed to be done. I want to thank all of the board members and the supporters and the volunteers at MTPC today, and particularly of MTPC 20 years ago. The organization, when I was there, was run on the power of interns, volunteers, board members, committed community members who I've had the opportunity to watch many thrive to go on to amazing opportunities and careers, and others, unfortunately, like I said before, are no longer with us. And so that's a dual thing that I carry in my heart in thinking about this work and this community and where we are today. I'm looking forward to the next iteration of MTPC and the leadership of Trey Andre. I am inspired by his work and the work of the community. It continues to inspire and inform the work I do today. And I really measure what's happening around the country on what MTPC is doing and what MTPC has accomplished. We came up against a lot of tough fights and made a lot of tough decisions along the way. And those are things that I have learned from myself and continue to talk about and work from. The work that we have done has really set the stage for how trans people are talked about today, with the I Am Trans People Speak project, led by Jessie Begini, and the work of Rafi Friedman Gerspan in, being the first trans woman of color to be working at the White House under the Obama administration. Many of the amazing things that have happened in our community have come from the sweat, the tears, the anger, the joy of the Massachusetts transgender, non-binary, and ally community. Without you all, none of this work would have been possible. And none of the work will continue to be possible. So I am encouraged by the work that continues. I am encouraged by the commitment the community has had to keeping an organization like MTPC moving forward, one of the few that is trans-led, centered in the country. And it's a lot of work we all should be proud of. I just want to again thank you all so much for this honor. I'm really amazed, and I hope that I can continue to support the community as any way I can and continue to be inspired by all of you. Thank you so much, and I look forward to the rest of this evening and the opportunity to continue to congratulate all of us on the great work we've done over the last 20 years.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you so much for being with us virtually tonight. My name is Caden Mohammed, he, him, and I have had the privilege of serving as a member of MTPC's steering committee for 5 years. As we've been planning to celebrate MTPC's 20th anniversary, I've been reflecting on my own time with the organization. In my own short time working with MTPC, I have met, interacted with, and collaborated with so many incredible, passionate, talented people that I've seen inspire those around them. I'm amazed at what the organization and the people behind it, including staff, interns, volunteers, donors, and supporters, have been able to accomplish over the last 20 years, from the number of organizations trained on trans inclusion to persisting through and winning a decades-long fight for trans rights throughout the Commonwealth. Tonight, I am very grateful to have the opportunity and the privilege to thank and honor the people who started it all, the people who laid the groundwork for all that we've done over the last 2 decades. MTPC's founding members, Jennifer Levi, Cole Toller, Mycroft Masada Holmes, Grace Sterling Stoll, as well as Holly Ryan and Diego Sanchez, who were the first co-chairs of MTPC's steering committee. We stand on the shoulders of your bold and visionary leadership and advocacy. We thank you for knowing even 20 years ago that there was another reality for us as trans and non-binary people in Massachusetts, and for coming together to begin building towards that. We honor you for building a foundation for that future that's brought MTPC to where it is today. Thank you all so much.
Congrats again to Gunnar and to the first-year steering committee members. We're so grateful to all the folks here in Massachusetts who have helped move trans rights forward, leading the way. And you can be a part of that tonight. There's still plenty of time to donate. We need your support to keep going for the next 20 years for trans, non-binary, and gender-expansive rights. Now, let's welcome our next guest to the stream, current MTPC steering committee member, Michelle Tatt.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks so much again for coming out tonight to Professionals for Trans Rights. I know I speak for a lot of people at MTPC in saying that we really do appreciate your support in this really strange and trying year. But also in many of the prior years at the height of our legislative work. So again, so much thanks for all your support through the years. My name is Michelle Tatt. I am a board member at MTPC and have been on the board for about 4 or 5 years now, through the thick and thin of a lot of the legislative work and then the Yes on 3 work. You know, this is our 20th year in existence, and it's been quite a wild ride for MTPC. You know, we started as a very small grassroots organization, trying just to advocate in any way we can for trans rights for folks here in Massachusetts. And we slowly evolved into this organization that really drove the agenda for public policy and legislation around trans rights here in New England, but also federally and nationally as well. And you know, in our 20th year, we hope to continue some of the work, but also to reconnect with our community grassroots again, and do our best to serve our community on the ground as much as and as best as we can. Every year in Professionals for Trans Rights, we like to recognize an ally in the community that have had outsized impact on trans rights across the state. And in sort of recognition to our sort of, you know, commitment to really serve the community as best as we can, it is my pleasure to announce for this year's Carl Sciortino's Ally Award to Michael Cox, the Executive Director of Black and Pink Massachusetts. Michael Cox currently serves as the Executive Director for Black and Pink Massachusetts, as I said. And he's also administrator of the Massachusetts Bail Fund, a member of the Special Commission to study the health and safety of LGBTQI prisoners. And a lot of his work focuses on improving the conditions and confinement and decarceration of LGBTQI plus people and those living with HIV. I'm so personally excited to be presenting this award to Mike. I've known Mike for several years now. I originally met him as an acquaintance when I was personally doing work with Black and Pink Massachusetts some years back. Black and Pink has been doing really awesome work with LGBTQI plus prisoners and incarcerated folks across New England. And the work that Mike is doing is so important for the trans community. And so I'm just so excited to be able to present this award to Mike this year.
Thank you for those kind words, Michelle. And thank you to MTPC for awarding Black and Pink with the Carl Sciortino Trans Ally Award. This award means so much to us to be recognized as legit allies in the fight for trans liberation. This moment needs more than just allies. We need co-conspirators. We need left hand, right hand people. We need all of the help that we can get to make sure that our trans family has everything that they need. And this work should not fall on the shoulders of just trans people. The liberation of trans people is so necessary for the liberation of all of us. All of our lives are so interconnected that it would be so false to say that trans liberation only affects trans people. This is all of our fight. It is all of our responsibility to step up. And just the very bare truth here is that trans people did not create their own oppressive conditions. It is everyone else who created them. And so it is even more on us to unravel those conditions so that we can make space for our trans family to grow and flourish in all the ways that they need to. Some of the work that Black and Pink does is really rooted in the solidarity in mutual aid towards our trans family. So we have a robust pen pal network where we connect free world people with incarcerated trans people. We have a bi-monthly newsletter that goes out to all of our inside members who are currently incarcerated. And we also have several mutual aid programs to support formerly incarcerated trans people. That includes giving free money away for housing. It includes bailing our trans family out of jail so that they can await their case in the relative safety of our community. And so much more. Reentry aid, which is really just giving out money because that's what people need to survive in this capitalist system. We're also running a really great campaign to decriminalize sex work here in Massachusetts. We broke history just this year, filing legislation with Senator Sear and Rep. Miranda and Rep. Sabadosa, because there is a deepening understanding that sex work is a survival economy. It is an economy that people rely on when they are on the margins of life. And by criminalizing those people, we only make their lives more precarious. We make their lives only more unsafe. And so sending someone to jail for surviving does nothing to ever improve their material circumstances, and only places them in a situation that is even more unsafe. We know that in prison, trans people are more likely to be experience sexual violence, physical violence, day-to-day discrimination, and a complete neglect of life-saving medical care. But today's day isn't all bad. This is MTPC's 20th anniversary, and so happy birthday, MTPC. I'm so happy that y'all are in the world, that Trey Andre is leading this organization up, and so cheers to 20, and cheers to 20 more. And in the next 20 years, I certainly hope to collaborate more with MTPC. I know that Black and Pink deeply admires y'all's work as both a community builder for the trans community, but also as a watchdog to make sure that these laws that are being proposed in other states don't come here, and that we continue to fight the good fight right here in Massachusetts so that we can create the safest conditions possible for our people. And, in closing, I just want to say that this work is also deeply personal for me, as I am also formerly incarcerated. But while I was incarcerated, it wasn't the other gay guys that came to rally around me. It was actually trans women who took me under their wing. It was trans women who made sure that I was fed. It was trans women who stood up to literally fight for me on my behalf when I was getting bullied, when I was getting pushed around in prison. And it was trans women who just showed me the ropes of how to try to survive in a system that was not made for me and was not made for any human being. And I just want to leave you with some advice that Charlene Fuller gave to me. She's serving a life sentence right now at Concord State Prison. And she told me that in advocating for yourself, the best arguments are arguments that appeal to both the head and the heart at the same time. And so I hope that some of you might be able to apply Charlene's advice. It served me well, and I hope it'll serve all of you well.
Hi everyone again, it's me again in a different outfit. Pandemic is super strange. As I mentioned before, MTPC is in our 20th year, and in recognition of our 2 decades of existence, we'd also like to give a second Ally Award to represent our second decade of work. This award is going to someone who really doesn't need any introduction if you are native to Massachusetts and Boston. And it is really my extreme privilege and pleasure to award our second Ally Award to Congresswoman Ayanna Pressley. And I have the award right here. Just a short anecdote about my interactions with Ayanna. About 5 years ago, her and I were on a panel together around talking about Boston Pride. And then a few years after that panel, I had actually run into her again. We were in a building downtown, and I sort of walked into an elevator, and she was there. And was just chit-chatting with my friend, and I turn around, and she looks at me and says, "Hey, are you Michelle?" And I didn't recognize her at all at first. but she totally recognized me and remembered, the panel that we had been on together a few years back. And I think it really just, for me, represents her sort of how close she is to her constituency here in Massachusetts, and I think that her ability to remember her individual constituents says a lot about her character. But also, I think we can all say that we'll let her actions in Congress speak for herself, and during her time on Boston City Council. So again, I'm so excited to be able to present this award to Representative Pressley, and I cannot think of another better ally to present this award to. So congratulations, Representative Pressley. We are extremely excited to present this award to you.
Well, hello, family, and I do mean that. Each of you are my partners, my fellow activists, advocates, disruptors. You are my co-conspirators in the work of justice seeking. You are my siblings in the movement. So hello, family. I can't wait until we can all be together in person, hugging and breaking bread. But for now, I'm certainly grateful for the chance to join you virtually in community. Let me begin by thanking the Massachusetts Transgender Political Coalition, not only for this humbling award, which I accept, not for the work that I've already done, but as a commitment and a pledge for the work that we'll continue to do together. I thank you for this award, and I thank you for the work that you do year-round to empower communities and to center justice in the work. Treandre Valentine, you are a force. And you and the entire MTPC team, I'm so grateful to you. Grateful for your laboring and love. Thank you for your personal sacrifices. Grateful for your sweat equity and for everything that you do to help us to build a future that is free from hate. I also want to congratulate my fellow Carl Sciortino Trans Ally Awardee, Michael Cox of Black and Pink, Massachusetts. Michael has been a teacher to me. I feel mentored by his example, and I feel emboldened in the work that I do every day on behalf of trans people because of Michael. So it is an honor to share this unique distinction alongside you. Before I go any further, I'd like all of you to just take a moment, take a breath, and hold space. Hold sacred space for sacred lives. We have been violently robbed of too many lives, too many trans lives, simply because of hate, because of a resentment of how people show up in the world, how trans people show up in the world. I especially want us to honor and to speak the name of Jahaira DeAlto, who is tonight's posthumous awardee. You know, the term ally is thrown about very casually. But to be an ally is a verb. It's a demonstrated action. It's more than statement t-shirts and hashtags and likes and retweets. I was reminded recently of the words of Anne Frank, who said, "What's done cannot be undone, but you can make sure it never happens again." I'm paraphrasing. But that is the work that you do to make sure that this never happens again. And that is true allyship. It's love in action. It's love out loud. It's love as a verb. Support as a verb. Allyship as a verb. Hatred has claimed the lives of too many of our family members, of our friends and our neighbors, simply because of how they show up in the world. So everyone coming here tonight, committed to building a world, a future that is free from hurt, this is how we save lives. And we will quite literally save lives, but only if we actively listen to and are led by those closest to the pain. As I've said so many times before, the people closest to the pain should be closest to the power, driving and informing the policy making. I'm not one of those elected officials who believes that I'm a voice for the voiceless, because no one is truly voiceless. What they are is unheard. And it's incumbent upon us to create space for those voices to be heard, for those stories to be listened to, for those lives and the value of those lives to be codified in our budgets and in our policies. That's allyship. That's love. That's support. Centering the humanity of all people, of all trans people, in our budgets and our policies. And we only do that effectively when we listen to and are led by those closest to the pain. That's how we bring about transformative change, impactful policy. That's what it means to be a good ally to the LGBTQIA community, to communities of color, to any community that has been disproportionately impacted by inequities, disparities, and burden. It means centering their lived experiences and conversations and solutions and implementation. So again, no one is voiceless, but there are far too many people unheard. So let us continue to do the work of creating the space, of extending a hand, of not just bringing a chair to the table, because the table is old. We're going to create a whole new one. And I look forward to being your sister in solidarity in doing exactly that. And I'll just end by saying, trans lives matter.
Congratulations again to both of our Ally Award winners. Our allies are crucial to the work we do here, and a little history behind this award. At the first event like this, back in 2010, Sciortino was a speaker who kept showing up for MTPC. And so 2013, the award was renamed after him for his years of advocacy. And now moving on to the next award for the evening. This year, for the first time, we're giving out a Trans Activist Award to honor an incredible member of our community. Please join us in watching MTPC and Executive Director Andre Valentine offer this tribute in celebration of the life of Jahaira DeAlto.
Jahaira was a woman whose smile lit up a room. Her arms lifted up those around her. Her kindness embraced the world, and her wit outwitted everyone. Her activism for trans rights, body positivity, Black and brown lives, domestic violence, and the ballroom community made her an undeniable force. She was a mother, sister, friend, and beloved to many in community. She put herself out there and risked her life every day so that queer and trans people can be themselves fully. She said, "The onus lies on all of us to live in authenticity and encourage others to do the same." It is with great sorrow and regret that we did not give you your flowers while you were here. And it is with great honor that MTPC presents the first ever Trans Activist Award to Jahaira DeAlto posthumously, accepted by her daughter, Athena Vaughn. This award will be known as the Jahaira DeAlto Trans Activist Award, and her legacy lives on.
I'd like to come back to Jahaira's words on Mother's Day. Her words perfectly encompass the purpose with which MTPC has worked with for the last 20 years and will continue to do. Jahaira said, "I'm the mother who raised the children whose rainbow sparkled too brightly and blinded their birth moms. I cherish what they discarded. I took on earthly assignments for the moms who'd earned their heavenly reward. For the babies who still needed raising, I did that. And I'm still doing that. And I'll keep doing that. Because I will never know what seeing my DNA reflected in another's eyes could look like. But I know what gratitude in the eyes of a young person who finally feels seen looks like. And for me, that's enough." We'll always remember you, Jahaira. Your activism and your memory will live on. Now, as we remember Jahaira, let's take a look back over the past 20 years of MTPC. As we celebrate all these years of activism, please go ahead and hit that donate button. Thank you. What an amazing 2 decades of work for trans rights. How about some virtual applause and appreciation for all the people who've come together to get us this far. Now, we all know this is not easy work, but it's important and necessary work to do. Now, we need you to help stay on track for the next 20 years. If you haven't yet, this is a great time to hit the refresh button to see how much we've raised so far. Or even better, see your name and donation pop up in our total. And as you're doing that, Trey Andre Valentine, our executive director of MTPC, is here to tell us what the organization is doing now and into the future. Take it away, Trey Andre.
Although state laws protect trans people, our communities remain one of the most vulnerable and face some of the highest rates of inequity and discrimination in education, healthcare, housing, and employment. Many of the messages that I receive come from community members who are still being denied access to healthcare right here in Massachusetts because of their gender identity. Messages from community members who are frustrated and disheartened that they are still being misgendered and mispronounced at their workplace. Messages from concerned parents looking for accepting and informed schools for their children. We've done the work to ensure that basic protections include gender identity and gender expression, but the work is not over. Now is the time to do the work to ensure these protections are fully implemented and integrated throughout the Commonwealth. Now is the time to do the work to ensure our community has the resources, tools, skills, support, and relationships needed to thrive. Looking to the future, MTPC is excited to build trans power, starting with creating a unique program for leadership, skills training, and workforce development. Driven by community members every step of the way, this program would help connect community members with opportunities that will build trans, non-binary, and gender-expansive leaders across Massachusetts. We'll be magnifying our training and support for employers to transform their workplaces beyond acceptance to longer-term accountability so that they can truly foster an inclusive, responsive, and supportive work environment. If trans, non-binary, and gender-expansive people can thrive in their professional lives, we are building leaders. We will also be enhancing the Trans ID project to a web portal, making it easier and more accessible for community members to change their name and gender marker in all official state documents in Massachusetts and hopefully for all New England states. One of my personal goals is to grow MTPC so that we can further our work while also living and breathing our mission to ensure the well-being, safety, and lived equity of all trans, non-binary, and gender-expansive community members. We are so grateful for everyone who's involved, allies, supporters, and our beloved community members. Thank you again for being here tonight and for your support over the past 20 years. A special thank you to our sponsors, Amazing Host Committee for this event, and Steering Committee. This evening could not have been possible without you. Don't forget to check out the program book for the complete list of supporters. I now turn it over to Michelle, one of MTPC's Steering Committee members, back to tell you how you can help.
Thanks so much for that update, Tranjay, and hello again, everyone. Welcome back to the kitchen in my apartment. You know, like I said, MTPC is in our 20th year of existence, and you know, I think a lot of you are probably watching a lot of politics unfold across the country around anti-trans legislation. That a lot of states are putting up in their legislatures. And I think that really underlies the importance of continuing the work that, you know, we do here at the Massachusetts Transgender Political Coalition. I would love to encourage everyone who is attending tonight to make whatever donations they can for the organization. Any gift of any size will make a really big difference to the work that we do here at MTPC. I also want to mention that your donations right now are going to be doubled thanks to a generous match offered by the Lenny Zakem Fund and Robin Oakes, who is a dedicated MTPC donor. And your donations will be matched up to $7,000. As we are, in this sort of new era of trans rights, MTPC continues to need your support for all the efforts that Andre has sort of outlined in his update that he just gave now. With your help, we can continue to lay out a very progressive agenda to help us proactively do the work in the trans community here in Massachusetts that are really important for our community. So again, I encourage you to donate what you can. And again, all of your donations will be matched up to $7,000. So don't be afraid to, take out your pocketbook and write some big numbers so that we can continue some of the important work that we've been doing for the past 20 years of our organization.
Thanks, Michelle. I can't believe our time together celebrating 20 years of MTPC is already coming to a close. This has been an incredible evening, and we thank you for joining us and for your support. There's still time to donate and to continue to support all the work that MTPC has planned for the future. And we want to thank you to all our speakers who joined us tonight. And thanks to our sponsors. You can check out all their information and our most up-to-date list of sponsors on our virtual program book on our website or in your email. A major thank you goes out to Diamond sponsors, Eastern Bank, and our gold sponsors, Foley Hogue. And most of all, thank you to you all for tuning in and joining us for our 11th annual Professionals for Trans Rights event. Although this year's been a bit different than usual, it means so much to us that you've still tuned in to celebrate our 20th anniversary. Thank you so much for your donations for the important work that MTPC does. The event will continue to remain up for viewing, so please, please, please share it with your communities, your friends and family for all the important work that this MTPC is doing. And please feel free to continue to donate. We look forward to next year when we can hopefully gather in person. So in the meanwhile, thank you for tuning in and have a good evening. Good night.